Deep in the abyss, the beam awakens a lonely soul sitting silently, guarding the terrifying and forgotten secrets of the past. Amidst rusting rifle racks, that skeleton remains seated, a tragic witness to history that has been swallowed whole by the ocean. A heavy machine gun that once roared on the battlefield now lies silent, covered by a cold, thick layer of moss. The steel helmet and gas mask lie scattered, evoking memories of the soldiers who fought and fell right in this spot. A fatal wound tore apart the massive hull, opening a dark passage leading straight into a living hell on Earth. The brave diver advances into the darkness, where the inscription on the hull remains, asserting the sovereignty of the U.S. Navy. Barnacles cling tightly to memories, turning the once authoritative inscription into a textured underwater sculpture of absolute destruction and decay. Along the desolate hull, the dark round portholes look like soulless eyes, watching every movement with a cold, dead stare. Behind the thick, intact glass lies a stagnant space, imprisoning the lingering soul of this legendary warship for eternity. The anti-aircraft turret still points proudly upwards, but now its only enemy is the school of small fish swimming by. The tattered American flag still clings to the iron wall, waving in the cold current as if recounting a heroic tale. The scene of ruin on the deck appears, sharp metal fragments lying scattered like a battlefield where the smoke just cleared. The giant cannon collapsed under the ocean's pressure, a layer of yellow rust covering the destructive power of a bygone era. Though corroded by time, the mechanical gears of this war machine still exude a cold, sharp, and deadly beauty. Winding through the narrow corridor, intricate air pipes look like the veins of an iron monster that has ceased to beat. The giant searchlight that once tore through the night is now shattered, sinking deep into an eternal sleep on the seabed. The tiny life of sea creatures exists upon deadly ruins, creating a haunting and poignant contrast in this underwater grave. The heavy iron door stands ajar, inviting those bold enough to step inside and explore the bleeding heart of the ship. The flashlight beam illuminates the deep darkness, where the air is thick with the smell of the past, racing the pulse. The corridor stretches endlessly, the seawater murky with dust. Every stroke is a step back in time to the World War. The crew locker area appears dimly, a place holding the final memories of sons who traveled far from their homes. Military boots still lie neatly in the lockers, as if their owners had only just walked away yesterday morning. The iron mug and combat knife remain in place. These familiar items have now become artifacts of a terrible tragedy. The bare iron bunk beds, which once cradled the sleep of so many young men, are now chillingly cold and empty. The tattered tactical map still clings to the wall, marking the fateful voyages that this ship once traversed in war. The radio communication system lies silent. The final desperate distress signals were never sent and never heard by anyone. The secret encryption machine is buried in mud, carrying important military tactics down into this deep and silent grave. The electronic control panel is shattered, wires exposed and broken, proof of the terrifying destructive power of the massive explosion. The iron stairs lead down to a pitch-black basement, where deadly dangers still lurk in the overwhelming and heavy darkness. The diver holds his breath and descends deeper, entering the most secret compartment, known as the deadly gunpowder magazine. The armory door opens slightly, welcoming us into a world of death, where time seems to have completely stopped still. An overwhelming scene appears. Dozens of M1 Garand rifles still lined up neatly, ready for a war that doesn't exist. Though the wooden stocks have rotted, the cold steel barrels still exude a murderous aura, waiting for an invisible hand. Wooden crates are stacked high, containing tons of unused ammunition, sleeping peacefully in the heart of the deep ocean. The warning text on the ammo crate is still clear, a reminder of the destructive power hidden inside the rotting wood. An open crate reveals golden machine gun belts coiled in a perfect circle like a deadly work of art. Legendary Thompson submachine guns lie scattered, symbols of American infantry power, are now just piles of lifeless scrap metal. A Colt 1911 pistol lies alone on a crate lid, its deadly beauty still shining eerily under the flashlight beam. A corner of the ship is chaotic with piled guns, the sign of extreme panic as the ship began to sink. A chest filled with rusty red Mk2 grenades, like eggs of death waiting for the moment to finally detonate. The rough surface of the grenades looks extremely dangerous. Just a small impact could cause a catastrophic underwater disaster. This massive arsenal is enough to equip an entire battalion, but now it is all useless at the sea bottom. Gas masks are piled up on each other, black eye sockets staring into the lens like the skulls of the dead. The 1943 ammunition manual lies still, its pages rotted away, but still preserving the knowledge of killing and war. Crates of high explosives are lined up. The potential threat remains intact even after nearly a century has passed. Round sea mines with sharp spikes look like sea monsters lying in ambush for passing ships overhead. Rows of large artillery shells sit neatly on shelves, the metallic gold glinting threateningly in the gloomy darkness. A tiny sea creature crawls on a warhead. Fragile life contrasts completely with the destructive power of the weapon. A long torpedo rests on its rack. The silent assassin of the ocean still keeps its cold and terrifying appearance. The torpedo tail with its complex propeller system. This sophisticated killing machine did not have time to launch and destroy. A hold filled with slender aerial bombs stacked in layers. Death has been carefully packaged and ranked in the ship. A rocket launcher lies tipped over on the deck. All the most modern weapons of the time share a tragic fate. The danger no access sign is still there, a cold warning from the past sent to any intruders. The diver cautiously backs away from unexploded ordnance, respecting the eternal sleep of the unstable blocks of explosives. Entering the engine room, the space becomes cramped with giant flywheels and pistons, the mechanical heart of the warship. The ammo conveyor belt is still jammed with unloaded shells, proof that the battle was fought to the very end. The shells remain stuck in the rusty machine. The life and death moment of the ship stopped right at this second. Ghostly blue light from the ocean filters through the large hole in the hull, illuminating the scene of ruin. Broken pieces of crockery are scattered across the floor, traces of an unfinished meal when the tragedy suddenly struck. The cargo trolley lies overturned upside down. Everything was violently turned upside down in the dying moments of the shipwreck. Returning to the image of the lonely skeleton, it still sits there, silently counting every beat of time in hopelessness. Moss covers the M1 carbine rifles. Nature is gradually swallowing and assimilating the war machines of man. A large fish swims slowly past the cannon barrel. New life is sprouting strongly right on the ruins of death. The diver begins to swim up, the flashlight shining down one last time, saying goodbye to the silent warriors below. From above, the anti-aircraft guns still point their barrels skyward, continuing their mission to guard the sky in vain. The entire ship appears blurry in the deep blue water, a giant ghost, a vivid and tragic museum. Sunlight begins to glimmer on the water's surface above, promising life and freedom, contrasting with the darkness below. The ship shrinks in sight as the diver ascends. We are leaving an entire chapter of bloody history behind. The screen fades to dark, leaving only the echoing sound of the ocean. The sea will keep these secrets forever. An emotional journey of discovery has closed, but the echoes of the brutality of war will haunt us forever.
The most impressive images of guns, bones, and torpedoes flash by quickly, etched into the viewer's mind once again. The arsenal under the ocean closes here. Let the souls rest in the eternal sleep of oblivion.